Hello and welcome to today's Oh the Times, Oh the Customs videos. A look at modern absurdities of everyday life and how we all deal with them. Usually coming live from the cockpit of a works vehicle. Today is no exception. I have a very good view of a brick wall. I am just another brick in it for the purposes of this video, I guess. It is a fairly standard day here, late winter's day on the Isle of Man, so we can't be too surprised to find we are sat in gale force winds and lashing rain, but never mind, we'll crack on. I am going to do a video about what I tend to call Listorama. It's an extension of clickbait. As we all know, clickbait has run hand in hand with the dumbing down of society. No longer do broadsheet newspapers now bother to give a balanced analysis on any sort of conflict or anything for that matter. For example, I flicked onto a popular allegedly highbrow website to read about what is going on in Kashmir this week. Instead, I found a clickbait article with the first slide saying this is a tank, lol. They use these in Kashmir to kill each other, lol. That is the level we are at. We have seen romantic authors not even bother writing a next 500-page bestseller. They will just put some clickbait on their website along the lines of this is a man, this is a woman, lol. They fall in love and have lots of sex, lol. The end, lol. It saves them the hassle of 2 years writing, publishing deals, all that. They know as well as anyone the average human attention span is now about 3 sentences. That's the way it is. Now, I am not going to talk about clickbait, but I'm going to talk about the verbal side of that, which is sort of Listorama, if you like. And it's most prominent, I find, in the world of comedy. We've seen very talented and very hard-working comedians go down the line of Michael McIntyre. I was in the hairdressers the other day, and guess why is it that? And then they will list 10 minutes worth of material about funny things that have happened to them in a hairdresser's, or alleged funny things. The effort of being an anecdotalist, the skill of being a raconteur, all those things, of setting a funny comedy scene, telling a long joke that is atmospheric, all those type of things have gone out the window. It's just Listorama. So I am going to jump on the bandwagon and attempt to do my own Listorama. Bear with me, it's on the theme of why is it. So if you can't beat them, join them. I'm going to start. Why is it that when one gets a job in a finance company, all the internal software systems are named after 1980s gay bars? For example, Quasar, Paxos, Droid, AWD. The programmers were obviously having a laugh at our expense, reliving their 1980s youth. Why is it that whenever you play the video game Pro Evolution Soccer, it is always the black ref that is officiating when you have a player sent off? Why is it that whenever you hear the name Fru used in real life, you become overrun with joy as you realise that it is actually a real name? The writers of Biker Grove weren't taking the P out of you, your 10-year-old self, by using a made-up name for one of the main characters after all. Why is it in the sixth form there's always some posh twerp who thinks it's hilarious to refuse to play on the left wing for the school first 15 in the rugby because it's against his entire right-wing belief system? Haha, hilarious. Why is it that whenever we watch reruns of Sesame Street as an adult, we notice how much everyone hates the Count Von Count? Oh Christ, here comes the count, I'm off, it seems to be the theme. We also notice how much of a wet blanket Big Bird is, flapping about lily-livered. Oh, I don't know about that, Oscar. You feel like smashing the TV screen and saying, "Come on, Big Bird, grow a set!" Why is it that the only organisation in the UK whereby grown men can freely socialise with 12-year-old girls without the need for any sort of background checks is the Young Farmers? In exchange for a lifetime of rural drudgery, the powers that be seem to turn a blind eye to this organisation. What they are up to, we will call it socialising to be charitable. I have no evidence to the contrary, so we'll move swiftly on. Why is it that we are conditioned to pity all alcoholics and drug addicts? Most of them are having a ball and are functioning perfectly normally. They do not need our pity. Why is it that when all 4x4 drivers actually use their 4x4s for what they're meant to be, i.e. driving off-road, they can get away with churning up our protected countryside and running over the nests of endangered birds by virtue of having several "One Life, Live It" stickers displayed prominently all over their vehicle? Why is it, however much we moan that football should just be stopped and trophies awarded to whichever club has the most money in the bank, or we bleat on that it's definitely fixed, you just wait till Fergie snuffs it, we always renew our satellite TV subscriptions without fail? Why is it that every public event now needs an environmental officer, and why is it that these environmental officers are always, shall we say, enjoy bending their arm? We can only assume their role of being an environmental officer is primarily testing the hops in the beer tent. Why is it that men in certain pubs never seem to leave the sanctuary at the bar despite drinking 15 pints to go to the toilet? We can only presume that so poisonous is the atmosphere that they know the minute they leave the sanctuary at the bar, their character will be absolutely ripped apart by everyone present, and we can only assume they turn up to the pub in a huge cloth nappy. Why is it that every elderly couple who go on holiday to a rundown seaside town always get their car blocked in at the hotel car park? They then spend the next 12 hours walking the prom in a tense silence, daring not to mention the elephant in the room, and hoping beyond hope that the car is moved when they get back. Why is it that all new developments in rural areas seem to be decided by planning officers who have spent too much time playing SimCity on their PCs? Why is it that despite numerous agricultural campaigns by the agricultural industry to buy local meat, you can never move in any McDonald's drive-through for farmers in mud-splattered jeeps? Why is it that every B&B in the world insists on having plywood floors so that the slightest sound means you wake up the entire building? My change falling onto said plywood floor recreated the carpet bombing of Dresden perfectly. The lad in the room above me going for a 2 a.m. tinkle is akin to sleeping under Lionel Blair's practice room. Why is it that wherever you go in the world, when a late night burger van appears out of nowhere, it is always run without fail by Scousers? Why is it that whenever one takes an exit on a motorway early, we irrationally tell ourselves a link road will miraculously appear a mile down the road, which will take us direct to our destination without the need to rejoin the motorway? It never does. Why is it that any small independent hotel hosting a wedding waits till the actual morning of the ceremony whilst the other guests are actually having their breakfast to give the function room a lick of paint? Why is it that whenever a toff perishes in a gruesome fashion in far-off lands during a gap year travel, there's always someone who lives in his locality that lap it up and create a campaign in his memory? Why all the sympathy, I would say, even discounting his own incredible stupidity? The reason I personally haven't frozen to death and been eaten by a polar bear whilst on a jolly masquerading as a conservation project in the Arctic is because I am here on the Isle of Man working and making silly videos. That is why. Why is it that any attractive divorcee, female, always has a platonic friend who looks like the type of bloke you would see with Nicky Clark on This Morning sometime in about 1993, demonstrating a new hairstyle whilst you yourself were partaking in a sick day from school and were spread eagle on the couch? Why is it that a good 85% of doorbells in this country don't work at any given moment in time? Why is it that whenever you have the snooker on in the background, Dennis Taylor seems to be in a permanent state of amazement that Ding Junhui is from China? Why is it that all Finnish sportsmen seem to be suffering from a permanent dose of the heavy flu at any event they are involved in, particularly rally drivers? Why is it that all national newspapers covering men on trial for serious crimes against children highlight the fact they are always well regarded in their own local stock car racing circles? We're getting to the end now. Why is it that whenever you are 15, you always had a mate with a dad called Ron, who used to sit in a lounge on a mouldy chair all day and you dreaded walking through it? In tribute to said character Ron, and the ubiquitous GCSE geography module on France that everyone aged 15 has taken for the past 40 years, you christen the said lounge the Rhone Valley. We'll get into the final ones here now. You say thank God. Why is it that any small town pantomime featuring a new gag that doesn't subscribe to the established norm of laughing at highly safe issues such as the local politician's fat arse, teenage girls falling over in a highly sexualised dance routine, or the local farmer's mouldy veg, there is a complete outrage and an outright rejection of the production, ultimately leading to civil war in the said village? Why is it that we all laugh whenever some aspiring comic suggests for the 5 billionth time that a dying geriatric populated seaside town should be renamed God's Waiting Room? I think that'll do it. I didn't particularly enjoy doing that. I doubt I'll do another one, but feel free to do your own Listorama stuff like that.